Hey everyone, and welcome back to another quick movie breakdown by the Anti-Critic. Today's movie quietly snuck in under the radar in September of 2021 and is titled Chompy and the Girls. Our story begins with the solo scene of Addie Jackson in her unkempt apartment. She is seemingly feeling depressed, alone, and a bit vulnerable. She tries to reach out to her mother, her friend Lotus, and even her drug dealer.
We don't really have that kind of relationship.
All of whom do not have any time to give her at the moment. But clearly suicidal by the looks of the noose, she needed to talk to someone, anyone. And with no one in her corner, Addie tries to take her own life. Fortunately, the ceiling fan that she tied the noose to cannot hold her weight and partially drops her from the ceiling, landing her feet flat on the floor, basically saving her life. And she's probably feeling that she can't do anything right anymore. Next, we see Sam, a semi-unhappy man that is tied to a marketing job that makes him feel unfulfilled, and a wife, Deborah, that perhaps makes him feel irrelevant and probably unimportant. But he did get himself some spiffy new snakeskin boots, so he's got that going for him, he thinks. Until Deborah shatters him with this comment.
You look ridiculous, Sam.
Thanks, Deborah.
Still yearning for some form of human connection, Addie texts Sam for the first time ever, letting him know that she is his daughter and wants to meet him. And understandably, Sam is shocked by this news. And with some confirming texts, Sam agrees to meet up with Addie at a nearby park. At the park, Sam asks questions and Addie answers. And we can see that Sam is very uncomfortable and not sure what to say, or even how to act. Addie isn't too sure either, and she may even feel like reaching out to Sam was maybe a mistake. And it is here where their already strange day takes an even stranger turn as they witness this. After booking it from the park and after Addie is back home safe, she tries searching the internet looking for answers to the bizarre thing that she had witnessed. When there's a few thuds on the door and an unexpected visitor just walks right in. And after barely escaping that, Addie makes her way to Sam and Deborah's house. Addie feels like they are both in danger and need to go on the run, but Sam is reluctant to leave and Deborah is confused. But Addie is persistent and will take Sam with her, even if she has to by knife point. And looking out the window, Deborah sees an approaching visitor.
Who is that? Who is that?
Thinking that all of this is due to some evil magic, Addie drives Sam to her friend Lotus's house, as Addie describes Lotus as being well-versed in all things paranormal or magical or, just weird stuff. But we see that the only thing in Lotus's world that is weird is Lotus himself. After explaining to Lotus what they saw earlier, Lotus tells them that it was a Rixella, a sort of interdimensional parasite. And guys, I tried to find some information on what a Rixella was, but came up with nothing, so maybe it's just a fictional term for this movie. But if any of you guys know about this, please let me know in the comments section. Anyway, Addie, Sam, and Lotus head to Lotus's house to create what Sam calls a magic circle. And here we see that even though Deborah was told to stay at the house, she is out driving trying to catch up with Sam as she tracks his phone. After having stopped because Lotus threw up in her car, Sam spots a girl walking in the dark that strangely resembles the little girl that was swallowed whole at the park earlier. While talking to her and asking questions, they learn that her name is Birch, and a familiar person appears. Scared and freaked out, they throw Birch in the car and drive off. Proving that he is less than useless right now, Addie takes an insanely intoxicated Lotus to his room and he passes out. And while she is doing that, Birch is doing something to an apparently unconscious Sam. And when she hears Addie coming down the hall, Birch runs out the front door. Addie wakes up Sam, who is clearly confused, and well, a new development reveals itself for Sam. And after a bit of a freak out,
Baby foot!
Yeah.
I have a baby foot!
Here, we can...
Addie goes to look for Birch, except... And for some reason, Sam decides to talk to Chompy. And Addie asks if Chompy can help them, or if he needs their help. Chompy slowly drops to his knees and opens his gigantic mouth and gestures for the two to climb in. Addie surprisingly jumps right in, but Sam reluctantly follows. Once inside, we hear a disembodied voice explain to the pair that he was sent to Earth to hunt down a Rixella, which is apparently a malevolent being that takes people and assimilates them in an attempt to take over a planet person by person. And this Rixella has chosen a little girl, as they are innocent looking and non-threatening. And once the Rixella has assimilated a person, the person now takes on the form of the little girl as well. Chompy's mission was to protect us from the Rixella by hunting them down and eating them, while also healing all of the assimilated people and returning them to their original form, but only after he finds the original Birch that the Rixella has attached itself to and killing the Rixella. This now explains Sam's foot. Birch was assimilating him, and he was beginning to take on her form, apparently foot first. Both now eager to help Chompy find all of the Birches, Deborah shows up, and this happens. Not knowing what to do now, the trio, well, they go to Peter's Pancakes to regroup and maybe formulate a plan. And it's here that they learn that Sam's foot is in some way connected to the Rixella and can sense all of the assimilated Birches. He tells the girls that the Birches are close by and that there are a lot of them. Following the direction or guidance of Sam's foot, they go out to hunt down all the Birches. Finding a small group, the trio was able to snag one of them, and they throw her in Addie's trunk and drive off to look for more. But back at the house, Lotus comes to, and he falls upon the dead Chompy. And our group work their way to Addie's apartment, and Addie texts Lotus to head her way, and they begin to become overrun by a small army of birch. Lotus has shown up, but he cannot get out of his car because he is surrounded by birches, and he also lets Addie know by phone that he brought the body of Chompy, who is now in the trunk of his car. Addie and Lotus devise a plan to snatch up the little girls one by one and drop them into Chompy's mouth, thinking that this may be a way of killing them. But as Addie is dropping a girl in Chompy's mouth, she falls in as well. And we see that she is standing next to the original birch with the Rixella engulfing her body. And feeling heroic, Addie decides to remove the Rixella and take it on herself, freeing Birch. And all of the assimilated birches now turn into the form of Addie. While Addie is fighting off the strength of the Rixella, we see that she is winning, and all of the Addies start to dive into Chompy's mouth on their own, as if she is guiding them there. And Chompy, while still dead, is able to transform each assimilated Addie back to their original bodies. And it looks like Sam was fully assimilated, as he is now also in Chompy's mouth. He sees Addie struggling with the Rixella and jumps in to try to help. Both fighting together, they were able to get rid of the Rixella. Whether it either is destroyed by Chompy or escape, it's difficult to tell. But now they need to figure out how to also escape Chompy's mouth. When all of a sudden, Lotus to the rescue, with some help from Deborah. Now safe and relishing in victory, our group looks around at all of the people that they just saved. And unanimously decide that food is in order and head out to get some breakfast. And that's the end. So what did y'all think? Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. As far as my opinion, Chompy and the Girls brought a unique story that I love independent films for. One of the things that makes this one an indie favorite for me is the lack of the endless B-roll footage that acts more like a filler. Also, this movie moved along pretty well with very little drag. And you know me, I just love movies that are a bit weird and out there. And I'll admit, Chompy and the Girls didn't go in the direction that I thought it was going, but hey, that's a good thing. Easily predictable movies are kind of dull anyway. And if you liked this quick movie breakdown, I would sure appreciate you clicking the thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more of these videos, please subscribe so you will always be notified of our new uploads. And if you have any comments or a movie that you would like a quick movie breakdown done for, just drop it down below. I try to read every comment that y'all leave. So until the next time, thanks a ton for watching, guys. The Anti-Critic out.